This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Well, good morning. We are live for our second portion of our OSN Media Day. Last Friday, we had 7 of our 11 teams that were featured. In the Lawton area, we had the 3 Lawton schools, Cache, Elgin, and Altus. And then we had an opportunity. Oh, let me turn this off right here. That's going to throw that off. Here, take this away there. So basically, we have the second rundown of OSN Media Day, which is going to be featured the Metro schools, which is Del City, Midwest City, Carl Albert, and Newcastle. And so we're excited to have that. So we have basically a kickoff preview of the football season. And I know everybody's anxious for it. We had the OSN Media Day. We had the Big 12 Media Day for colleges. And so now high school right around the corner. The 7th, circle it all on your calendar. They're all going to be suited up, ready to go, and ready to start. So we'll start off with Newcastle, part of our Media Day. And that's coming up next right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Back live here for OSN Media Day in the Metro version of our 2-part series. Last Friday we had 7 of our 11, and now we continue on. We'll start with the Newcastle Racers, and basically we have with head coach has a little bit of a little last-minute vacation time before he gets started. We have Jackie Ketch, Coach Ketch, and the Newcastle Racers.
Yes, we're coming into this year after a 7-4 season last year, first round exit, and we are coming into a year in which we only graduated 4 starters, so we'll have 9 returning offense, 9 returning defense, and we've come into a year where our spring camp was really good. We had people step up and fill those roles that we needed. We saw some young guys that we're looking forward to giving us a lot of really good depth. And this summer, they've been putting in a lot of work, gotten bigger, faster, stronger, and we're looking to continue to go to the next level as far as making deeper runs in the playoffs, competing for our district, and so on.
Yeah, just for all the guys, just excitement level for this season. Like you said, Coach Bergman, that's something he mentioned back at the banquet too, getting to that next level. Obviously, good program, making the playoffs regularly, but getting to that next level. Just excitement level for this season with all you bring back. Every guy can answer that.
Yeah, so this is my 3rd year here, and I think every year I've seen another step towards it, being in those closer games with the better competition in our district, and continuing to just progress and getting deeper. And some of these guys that are up here are actually been starting since I got here, so it's been really good to see how they've grown and gotten better.
More about the excitement level of the team. I feel like all the guys are really amped up. We had a really successful spring ball, and that got everybody ready for the summer, got people more motivated to come out and work harder.
Like you said, the spring bowl is really good, so yeah, just really excited in general about the whole season.
For me, I mean, all three of us, or all four of us, coming into our senior season, so really the stakes have never been higher. The furthest we've gone so far, just for us in our career, is second round, so losing to our rivals Tuttle. So this year, we're really trying to make a run for it. Won last year. I think advantage we do have this year is, like Coach Ketch was saying, we got a lot of experience, got a lot of guys coming back. Last year, our senior class was about 5. This year, we're looking about 16 guys coming, so I think we'll have a lot more experience, and we'll be ready to go. So.
Yeah, this season for us, I mean, I'm pretty excited myself. Like they said, we only graduated 5 seniors last year, so looking pretty well.
Obviously, the people who watch on OSN regularly and Newcastle fans know the names, know these 4 guys and everything. Is there any guys in particular that you guys think, coach, players, anybody, that can kind of surprise some people, guys who maybe didn't play a whole lot last year that are going to be kind of breakout guys this year that stand out?
I would say there's a couple of freshmen that are going to get some time, for sure, in skill position wise. But it's hard when you bring back 9 because you've seen them all. We got guys like that aren't here. Taj Smith is going to be a starter on O-line, D-line. He's a big difference maker. T.J. Bradford, running back and safety, he's a difference maker. Jackson Shanuel, who does a little bit of everything for us. Those kind of guys that I mean, the people that watch and know the guys are gonna know them for the most part. I don't know if there'll be too many surprises.
Now, from a fan base thing, you have so senior heavy. Several years back, this is a young team, and now all of a sudden you're not young anymore. How much pressure does that put on you and your senior class?
I would say there definitely is more pressure because everyone wants to see that payoff. When you're young, they give you excuses. When you're old, they're gone. But there's a lot of love in that locker room for each other, and I think that's going to be a difference because, I mean, when you've gone through as much as they have together, some heartbreaking losses, especially last year, or last 3 games were combined like 14 points, lost on a 2-point conversion in overtime. Late loss to Tuttle as well after a good start. So I think they've been battle tested together, and I think it's going to really make a difference.
Quarterback on the end, you're a 3-year starter, so what kind of pressure do you feel, or do you not even pay attention to that? This is your senior year, and you're going to just go out and make it happen?
I would say there's always pressure, no matter really what grade you're in, especially coming in my sophomore year starting, not knowing what to expect. There's pressure then, and there's going to be pressure every year, but going into this year, I'm more just focused on the team, more focused about the people around me, and doing the best we can together.
And how is your leadership skill as a senior? Are you more vocal or more just kind of by example, lead by example? What is your leadership going to be, heading into this year for your team?
I would say going into this year, I've been more lead by example, but I'm definitely working on being more vocal this year as we need someone. Last year we had a couple of really vocal guys that led the team, and now that they're gone, we have to have someone step up.
Okay, and finally, maybe a different for each one, and each player can answer. What specific game have you circled on the calendar for the game that you cannot wait for? All the rest are going to have its time, but this one's special. Which one would it be?
I would definitely say Blanchard after that big loss to them last year, and that was not expected. And there's a lot that went wrong that game, and there was a lot that we improved on after that game. And going into this year, I think we'll be more dialed in for that game, especially after last year.
Anybody else got one?
Yeah, I got one. For me, I would say week 9 we got Tuttle. So Tuttle is our biggest rival. We haven't beat Tuttle in 9 years. So last year was super close. We started off 13 up against them in the first quarter, and then they had a 99 kickoff return just to bring back the momentum. And it's probably the most frustrating game I've ever played in. And so this year, my last shot, I think we beat Tuttle our 8th grade year when we played them in middle school, but other than that, we haven't been able to beat them in high school yet. So that's really the game I'm looking forward most to, and I think we really got a good shot this year, especially for winning district as well. So that'd be the game I'm most looking forward to.
More questions? Go ahead.
Obviously, you get out there, you get some great fan support, Newcastle, great crowds all throughout this year's schedule is like totally flipped from last year. You have a ton of home games early. How much does that help just get off to a good start? You have a bunch of home games on the front end of the season. How important is it to win those, get off to a good start?
Yeah, I think it's nice to get out in front of them and show them what we have going, because I think we'll travel better when that happens. And we travel well as it is, especially since our district is a lot of close games. But being able to get out in front of them will definitely help our momentum going forward. Maybe be able to generate a little buzz and get people excited about what we have going this year.
Any other questions? All right, the Newcastle Racers, and we'll be back. Of course, we still have got Carl Albert, Midwest City, and Del City. We're going to talk about the Mid-Del clash between these three, and there's a lot of expectations coming out into this year between these three schools, and we'll talk about that next. Buffalo Wild Wings brings you this OSN Media Day right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Aw, look, how sad. Everybody but you has a debit card, and they're all out having fun, shopping, dining, feeling good. And here you are with crumpled cash and counting change. Not a good look, pal. Sounds like your wallet needs a friend. That friend is a PayMe debit card from Communication Federal Credit Union. Use your free PayMe card in apps, in stores, and anywhere you shop. You're good to go. Come into any branch and open your account in as little as 10 minutes or go to comfedcu.org. Communication Federal.
Welcome to our OSN Media Day as we continue. I want to thank the Newcastle Racers for spending a little time with us. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, on YouTube Live, and on the Oklahoma Sports Network. We are a free downloadable app. It's easy on the go. If you are on a Apple or Android device, the best way to do is just search Oklahoma Sports Network, and then you'll be able to download it and watch 11 schools at any given time on a Friday night. And then also, we're on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you are watching us on Facebook, give us a like, follow us there, then you'll know what's in store next, because we've got fall girls sports coming up with some softball and some volleyball, and of course August 26th, the 0 week, we're anticipating that excitement, and then September 1st for everyone else. So OSN Media Day continues now with the Del City Eagles, and we'll talk to Coach Robert Jones.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, let me thank you for having us here and giving us the opportunity to represent Del City and the community of Del City. I'm glad to be here with such respectable teams as Carl Albert and Midwest City and Newcastle. The thing for our season is the same as it's always been. We're going to control what we can control, and that's the next day up. And that's next week when we go to Summer Pride for Monday and Tuesday. We don't really get so caught up in teams and the expectations of the season and who we're playing. We focus on what we can do daily, and that's our attitude and our effort and character. You know, character is one of the big things we focus on, because we believe if you have good character and you're a good person, everything else falls into place. So we don't get so caught up in all the media and them making this about us and this team and that team. We just focus on what we could do, and that's our character building, that's our attitude, and that's our effort on a consistent basis. I'm very excited about this team this year just because of the work that they put in this summer and spring. Each year you're going to have unique challenges that comes with each team. And we have some challenges that we have to overcome with this team, and that's what we're in the process of working on. So I'm excited that these young men have put in a great effort this summer in spring football, in track, powerlifting, all of those things that go into the process of being the team that you want to be. So these young men have put forth the effort that we could be successful as a person, and I think everything else will fall into place.
Any questions?
No questions?
No. You're going to get off that area that easy.
Come on,
Okay.
I'm ready for it.
All right, so
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Coach, I have a question about the move-ins.
Yes, sir.
River, the quarterback, and then the Fields cousins.
Yes, sir.
Talk about what it was like when you got them and when you found out that they were coming, and how they've acclimated to the team so far.
Well, you know, I've been in Oklahoma my whole life, and I played at Carl Albert. I watched the different programs get guys that move in and transfer in. I think that's more of a testament to our program and the kids before them and what they put forth. So that's one of those deals that when you're a good program, you're going to get good players. That's just part of it. You see it on the collegiate level as well. Those guys coming in, starting with Rodney and LaDainian and up here, they came in, they bought in. It's a unique deal because they knew these kids growing up. They all played on Little League teams together. They knew about each other, and you know, they came in and they meshed. They didn't think they were bigger than the program. They brought into our C-depth mentality and the character building that we do, and they've been a great benefit to us. And I think they just add on to what we have as far as great talent, speed, and not only that, just good character. You know, and everybody knows that a quarterback kind of can put you in a situation where you could be successful. And with River moving in, that gives us an opportunity to have a guy that's experienced, a 2-year starter, and it gives us a chance to have a guy that can come into the locker room and lead, and that's what he's been doing. Not only does he lead by his words, he leads by his actions as well. River's been a great leader for us. He's always wanted to do extra workouts. He's a gym rat when it comes to the film study. So we're excited about bringing those 3 guys in and add them to the tradition of Dale City. And we're excited to see what they're going to do with this team as they mesh with them.
I know we're very regionalized as far as teams. You know, you play the West, but you guys got sent to the East. Tell us about that experience about having to travel. We don't really hear about East teams until it comes to playoffs.
Yes,
what
sir.
was it like for you to have them in your district?
Well, it was football. I mean, I grew up playing on the West Side. We played all the teams, Piedmont, Bishop, McGinnis, Guthrie, and El Reno. I grew up playing those teams when I was at Carl Albert. I grew up coaching against those teams in Carl Albert and Dale City, and it was a unique challenge to go to a different side of the state and play against traditions and play against programs that you hadn't played before. But I liked it. I liked to see new faces. I wanted to kind of put our name on the map on the east side to let them know what kind of program that we do have. The traveling wasn't an issue because it's only an hour and a half tops, but it was fun to play against new programs that you haven't seen. You got to see their traditions. You got to see what type of players they have. You got to see what kind of crowds they have. So it was a unique challenge that we looked forward to, and we're excited about being on that side again. We want to show them that, you know, we do play good football on the west side, and this is something that we want to make a staple, not only for Dale City, but just for the west side of Oklahoma, that we play good football over here.
So you mentioned the district. The other 3 teams that made the playoffs from your district were Sapulpa, McAllister, and Coweta.
Mm-hmm.
And you played all 3 of those on the road.
Yes, sir.
What's your feeling about that?
You know, me personally, and I feel like a team always takes the character of a coach. I don't get caught up in playing on the road or playing at home. When you blow that whistle and that ball's kicked off, all that stuff goes to a side. It comes down to tackling, blocking, catching, and doing all the things that make you a successful football team. So either if you're playing on the road or you're playing at home, you're going to have to be successful on the things that you've been working on leading up to that week. So playing them on the road, I like the unique challenge of playing them on the road, but once that whistle blows, it's football. So I don't think that in high school you really get that home field advantage to that standpoint where it's going to be a factor with the crowd. So it's going to really come down to our pads and us putting hands on people and doing the things we need to do.
So last year, your defense players that were talked about were, of course, Jaden Foreman and Nigel Thomas.
Yes, sir.
What's going to be your identity of your defense this year?
I think our identity is going to stay the same. We're going to be fast. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be able to do some things in the back end coverage-wise because we have the secondary and the speed to be able to do it. I think as I progress into my 3rd year as a head coach, I think sometimes people forget this is actually my 7th year, so it'll be the defense that we've been running for 7 years. So if anything in life, when you run something consistently, you're going to continue to get better day in and day out. So last year, I think we gave up one of our best since I've been here, averaging giving up 12 points per game, and I think that's going to continue. I think our kids, I've been knowing these kids since they were in 8th grade. They've been running the same system. So I think their knowledge is just going to improve from the last year, and I think we're going to continue to have the tradition that we have. We're going to be fast up front. We're going to get after the quarterback, and we're going to play some tight coverage in the back end.
Coach Jones, who are some of the names that we maybe didn't hear as starters last year that you're expecting to make an impact on your team this year?
I think it starts up front with the O-line. You know, we have this is probably the most depth we had at O-line, you know, because things happen, injuries happen. And I think football is all about competition. You never want to let somebody get comfortable. So we're going to have about 10 guys. I don't want to name them all because I don't want to leave nobody off, but we're going to have 10 guys that are going to be competing for 5 spots. And anytime you have competition in practice, you know, I'm a true believer in Nick Saban, and they make practice competitive. So we're going to be able to make practice competitive with the depth that we have at O-line. Therefore, I think it'll transfer to the game just because they're getting that competitive level at practice. So I think the O-line is going to really be a surprise to people. Just because the longer you're in a program as well, the longer they stay in the weight room, the longer they learn how to have that mentality of being O-line. So I really think that's going to be the surprise of everyone on what we have up front. You know, a lot of people talk about the skill players. I don't care how good a skill player is, they're not doing nothing without the O-line. So I'm excited to have those O-linemen step up and get the praise that they deserve, because sometimes I think that's left off. I mean, those running backs could be great. Receivers could be great, but if they don't have somebody blocking up front, we all seen those games and we seen those situations turn pretty sour for them. So I'm excited about the O-line and what they're going to bring to the table this year.
Let's get some of the players. Let's talk about, you know, whoever wants to pick up the mic, just talk about the anticipation of this season and what you want to get out of it.
Yes, sir. We're going to start with Bradley Ndama, 3-year starter.
Well, what I want to get out of the season is I just want to win. That's really what it is. Each game I want to win. That's really what I want.
How did you want to get better this year personally? How did you want to improve your game?
Stronger. That's about it. Stronger.
This year I felt like I've been working hard, getting stronger, faster, learning, like getting more football IQ. But yeah, this is definitely one of the hardest working off seasons I've had since I've been at Del City.
Can you remind us what position you play?
I play D tackle, nose, and O tackle.
Now, for anybody to answer this, because we already know, and we won't rehash last year's close games, but just like I asked Newcastle, is there a game specifically you put on the target that I really want this one because something happened that I want to show it? Is there a particular game you've circled on the calendar for this year?
No, we're just getting ready for Choctaw, going week by week.
Coach speak. Anybody else want to chime in on it?
Same thing.
Same thing, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, we just, you know, you could get what you learn when you're in the environment of preparing for games.
Yeah.
If you start preparing for a game that's 8 weeks or 9 weeks down the road.
Well, I don't think it's really prepared. I think it's just emotionally. I mean, you know, you look at stuff, you know, it's like OU Texas. You can bring that up, and that's not game one. But
Yes,
those players understand that game. And you had some heartbreaking, you know, overtime losses that, you know, maybe that's to avenge that, you know. So I just didn't know if that was part of it.
I mean, you think about it, you know, you think about some of the losses you have, but the next person on the schedule is Choctaw, and they're going to, you know, be the person that we try to correct all the mistakes that we made from those losses we had. So Choctaw is the next team on the schedule, and that's who we're focused on.
A question for the Fields cousins.
Sure.
How's it been getting acclimated to Del City, and what do you think you'll bring to the table?
I just want to play and just, But can you say that question again?
How's it been getting adjusted to Del City, the program, and the players, and then what do you bring to the table as far as what type of player you are?
What I bring to the table is, like, I can carry the ball, catch, run, block, what a running back usually does.
Just talk about the workouts and stuff.
How I've been working, getting stronger, faster, learning new things with the team, coming together.
Good.
I've been coming with the team because, like Coach said, I've been knowing these dudes since we was little. So it just clicked as soon as I got there. We all just clicked as soon as I got there. What I bring to the table is I can play both ends, offense and defense. That's pretty much it.
Any other questions? You got one? Go ahead.
Braylon, I heard you were switching positions this year to slot receiver. Can you kind of tell me how you're liking that?
Well, I've always played receiver, so I did like it. So that wasn't really a problem for switching positions. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Question for Rodney. What made you choose Oklahoma State?
It was my dad's favorite school, so when I got that offer, I just knew automatically I was going to go there.
I heard from this guy,
Carter. They all nervous now, but in the locker room they talk more
Remind
than
everyone
they
what
ever
positions
is.
you play, and do you feel like you're a better player now than you were last year this time?
I play running back and middle linebacker, and yes, I feel like I have got better this year than last year.
All right. Anything else? All right, so that was the Del City Eagles. We want to thank them for spending our little bit of morning, our OSN Media Day, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. We still have Carl Albert, and we still have Midwest City and the Bombers, and we'll do that next, right after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
We come from different backgrounds, with diverse interests and unique learning styles. Finding classes that fit your individual needs isn't a challenge at Cameron University. A small campus and dedicated faculty ensures there's always someone close by to guide you on your journey. Your success is our success. Your education is our mission. At Cameron University, you're not a number, you're part of the family.
All right, we're back here for OSN Media Day as we continue on. Thanks for joining us. In case you missed it, last Friday we had 7 of our 11 schools featured, all 3 Lawton schools, Cache, Elgin, Altus, and then we've got the remaining 4 here where you have Midwest City, Del City, and Carl Albert, plus the Newcastle Racers. Talk to the Newcastle Racers, and we have the Del City Eagles. Now it's the Carl Albert Titans, and Coach, take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having us first. Really cool thing that you guys are doing at the Oklahoma Sports Network, and thank you for allowing us to talk about our teams and promote the good things that all of these programs are doing. It is an honor to be here with our two district brothers, with Midwest City and Del City, and then add Newcastle to the mix. You've got 4 really good programs up here, and a lot of healthy respect for each other. So thank you for allowing us to do that. This season, we're excited about what we have coming back, but we're also excited about some guys stepping up, and we're really happy with where we're at as far as a off-season, spring, summer, team camp, everything that we've done to get to this point. Everybody always wants to ask the question: you guys going to be able to do it again? You're gonna go win it all? And the easiest answer for me is always, we've put ourselves in a position to be successful. I mean, that's all that we want to do as a program. That's what I think every coach up here would tell you, is that you try to do your best to have a season that you're proud of. And I think our kids have really done a great job this off season of, we played that last game in December. We took 1 week off, we maxed out, and then we started off season as soon as we got back in January after Christmas break. So, we don't take time off. A lot of people just see the tip of the iceberg with our programs, with Carl Albert, and they don't see all the stuff that goes in behind it. They don't see all of the off-season workouts that these guys do. They don't see the extra stuff that these guys do. Our guys run track. Our guys play baseball. Our guys do all kinds of stuff. We don't let guys just take time off. It's kind of a cliche. The whole off season is really not an off season, but we at Carl Albert, we want our kids busy. We want them competing year in, year out, and our guys do it. They buy into what we ask them to do. This group has been really, really fun to work with. I've got a bunch of guys up here right now with me, and you know, one thing that I've told a lot of people when they're asking about our guys is one thing I'm excited about is we've got a bunch of 3-year starters coming back. You know, my first year in 2021, we had a team that we had, I want to say, 2 starters coming back off of that 2020 state championship team. I think we graduated 22 seniors, and a lot of these guys got thrown in the fire early. I mean, Trayton Holland started at right tackle for us in some of those games early on in the season, and ended up being our center this last year. And so he's got a lot of experience. I've got Easton Harless here with me, another 3-year starter that's played linebacker and played about every position with that core group of linebackers. Xavier, he split carries his sophomore year with Kentrell Bazell and ended up having kind of a quiet season, but had 700, 800 yards as a sophomore, so we knew what was coming as far as last year went. So 3-year starter. Tanner Norman, same thing. Tanner started a bunch of games at defensive tackle as a sophomore, had a really good year for us then, and then last year started at left tackle for us and just had a great year. Brock Johnson has started 3 years at defensive end and also was our starting right tackle last year. So I thought it was important today to bring our seniors that have really put the time in and have really gauged this program over the last few years and really been a big part of you know, if I say any individual success, for me, these guys and having them be the ones that are kind of the face and the leaders of this program is something I'm really proud of as well. So we're happy to be here. We're happy to get the season. We're ready to get this thing going and go see what we can go accomplish.
All right, Coach Dunn, I appreciate seeing a 5 and a 6 and a 5. You're a lineman, I'm a lineman, and we always talk about skill positions.
Right.
I kind of think linemen have a lot of skill. And,
absolutely.
So
big skill.
Tell us a little bit more. Who's going to be filling in some of those spots that move?
Right. So big skill is what I like to call them. We're big skilled guys. And you know, again, it was important to me because you know last year, and Xavier will be the first one to tell you, and he's the first one to give credit to where it's due. And he has 4 offensive linemen coming back from that group last year, and 3 of them are up here right now. And Easton Collier is the 4th one. Easton Collier is another 3-year starter that he's on vacation right now, but Easton's another guy that has been great for us. And so to me, it's important. You know, you can do all the 7-on-7 in the world. You can do all that cute stuff. You know, but at the end of the day, you're going to play in a first-round game when it's a blizzard outside, and you better be able to run the ball in Oklahoma. And so we've got guys.
Blizzard first week.
We did, and our guys went out, and you know our offensive line played great. And we've got a couple pictures where we're in our heavy formation, and there's 11 guys on offense in the box and 11 on defense, and you know we've got a saying around there that there's no 7-on-7 to get you ready for that right there. So I think it's important to make sure that you honor the guys that are kind of unsung heroes. You know, the people who are going to be in the papers are the guys that are scoring touchdowns and doing those things, you know, but if you can't block, if you can't tackle, if you can't do all the stuff that take a lot of detail, it's all for naught to begin with. And so it was important to me to bring our big boys up here and make sure that, you know, this early on in the season they deserve all the credit, and they know that when the stories start getting written, it's going to be about those guys that they're making stuff happen for.
Coach, I got to ask though about those skill position players, and maybe Josh Cowley would know more than me, but I'm not aware of too many high schools that have 5 players that either committed to OU or that OU has offered, and that's what you have, and that's going to give you guys a lot of attention. Obviously, you don't want 1 or 2 players that have that much of a spotlight, but how do you manage that? What are your feelings about that?
Well, to me, you know, one thing that I talk a lot about with our guys is, you know, the individual success comes from team success. I mean, these guys would get found wherever they were at. I mean, it doesn't matter if Xavier, if he was at Chakota, Oklahoma, like they've got a couple guys that are getting recruited, and if he was there, they would find him there. But at the end of the day, we've got a bunch of guys that are unselfish. We got a bunch of guys that they're okay with the credit going elsewhere. They're okay with going out, and they might not have a game where they're going to have 2 or 3 touchdowns, but they're going to affect the game on the defensive side of the ball by locking down the other team's best receiver. We've got a bunch of guys that buy in to playing it all, to playing both ways. You know, you get some places where kids just want to play one side of the ball, you know, and we don't have kids like that. You know, it's one of those things where some places you might worry about, well, we've got so many guys, how do you get them all the ball? We don't worry about that. we worry about our main goal at the end of the day is to go win a state championship every year. We don't worry about district championships. We don't worry about going undefeated. We don't talk about that. Those are things that we don't bring up in our program. You know, we schedule really tough games to start out the season for a reason, and that's to get our guys ready for a tough district and a playoff run. But to answer your question, you know, it's one of those things that we don't think a whole lot about. Our guys, if you came to one of our off-season workouts, if you came to anything that we're doing, you can tell which guys look different. You can tell that, you know, that there's a kid that's 6'4" and weighs 220 pounds, and he's probably a pretty good player. You can tell that, but if you watch them all work out and all the stuff they do together, you couldn't really tell the difference between anybody. There is no superstar. They're all a bunch of guys that work hard, grind together, and like each other, which is what you have to do to be special.
You've got some good skill positions, obviously, and so this year we have the opportunity. You know, we haven't had a year recently that we haven't lost a quarterback in the middle of a game, and so it's always next man up.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got two guys, Cash Ferris and Sperry, that will come in. And how are they looking in regard to off season?
Yeah, really good. Both those guys are hard workers. They're grinders. You know, the Sperry family moved in right at the beginning of the summer, and so got to do a whole summer with these guys. And all these guys will tell you that Cash and Kevin both are competitors. They're guys that want the competition. They're not guys that are going to shy away from it. Cash is a big-time pitcher. He's committed to Oklahoma State to go throw there. You know, and when Kevin moved in, you know, I brought Cash in and said, well, it made you do what you're going to have to do a year from now when you go to Oklahoma State. You're going to have to go compete. And for Kevin, it's no different. When he goes to OU, he's going to have 2 or 3 guys around him that are really good football players. And so, to me, it's an iron sharpens iron deal. Last year, if we don't have 2 quarterbacks, you know, when Reed broke his collarbone, Cash came in and righted the ship, you know, for 7 or 8 weeks and was always ready to go. And so it's hard to get it done with one guy. And you plan on playing 14 games. It's nice to have a couple different options. And so, yeah, we're excited about both those guys. And again, ultimate team guys that love their teammates, that are going to give credit where it's due. I mean, just unselfish guys.
Okay, you've got Xavier Robinson, obviously, you know, committed to OU. Did a fantastic job last year. 37 touchdowns, I think.
39.
39, excuse me.
Rushing.
Yeah. So, but we know what Xavier can do. Who's standing behind him?
Yeah, well, we've got a couple guys. You know, Caden Davis, who also led the state in sacks last year, had 21 sacks at his defensive end position and play some hybrid stuff for us, linebacker stuff. But he could be a guy that could start a lot of places at running back, hard-nosed, downhill guy. We've got some younger guys we're excited about too. DeAndre Dukes is a kid that played JV for us last year. He ended up being one of our sprinters in track as a sophomore. He's on some relays for us, and he has just gotten better and better and better. Last year, you would say he was a little bit smaller. He's not a big guy, but he's done so well in the weight room. He has been just incredible offseason, and so we're way excited about DeAndre and what he can do. We've also got a couple of freshman running backs we really like that are coming up in the stable. Delijah Matthews is a kid that we're all excited about. Demarion, I don't remember Demarion Thomas, I think is his last name. We call him Smiley, but Smiley is he's another guy that we're excited about, and they're all kind of bigger type backs, kind of like Xavier is. So a lot of guys in the stable. That's a healthy position right now for us at Carl Albert.
All right, so just to ask a question to the guys that are here, how has off season looked this year?
I mean, it's looking very good, very great. You know, all of us coming together. You know, building a better relationship. You know, going to the senior year, and you know, a lot of guys. You know, having a lot of guys come back. You know, being a lot of great role models for this team, helping a lot of young minds out, and you know, we really look at. I mean, the work's just been really great. I mean, it's been phenomenal. I mean, helping out a lot of great guys, you know, and having a lot of players come back. I mean, it's been really successful so far.
I think we've had a lot of attention over the offseason with, like y'all said, the 5 guys with offers from OU, and I think that makes the rest of the locker room hungry to get that attention from themselves, but it's also there's no like toxic toxicity in the locker room. It's all picking guys up and like, good job. And the guys with those offers are telling those guys you're next. Like, we have those guys that haven't been found yet, and they're going to be found this season.
I think we've been looking pretty good. I think we've been getting really strong and fast, and we've just been working together as a team, picking each other up.
I think the offseason's been pretty good. Like, ever since we won the state game, it's been head down, back to work, ready for the next one. So I'm excited.
I really think that these new guys that we brought in, they've bought into like the culture of Carl Albert, and I think everyone that has been here has helped them like figure out like how we do things around here. So I think it's gonna go well.
I got a question for Tanner Norman. How do you balance being an offensive lineman and hitting all those home runs in baseball? And in particular, I mean, does the conditioning kind of overlap for both? And also, I know you were playing baseball this summer. I mean, do you have much time off during the summer for?
No, not at all. I don't have any time off. So for football, I usually bulk up. Last year I got up to 268, and then right after our last game, my mom used to bodybuild, so she has a lot of knowledge, and I cut down to 230, and that's what I played the baseball season at, and I think that helps a lot. So the conditioning, I mean, we run probably just as much or more in baseball, if you believe it or not. Like, we run a lot, so I think the conditioning doesn't really change, like, no matter what weight I'm at. I'm always in shape, even if I'm a little bigger between seasons. So.
Just jump in. And a lot of you guys have played on championship teams in other sports. How do you think that kind of helps you guys kind of overall?
I mean, I don't think at Carl Albert there's not a difference between seasons. I mean, it's always the same goal no matter what sport you play. So
I think one thing that helps with that is everybody knows how to win and everybody knows what it takes to win. So the sports are different, the seasons are different, but you have to work just as hard in any sport to win it.
I think as, my job as an athletic director too as well is to make sure that, if I'm the athletic director, I'm also the head football coach. If we're going to preach as athletic directors that we want our kids to do multiple sports, then we've got to do that. I have to do that as a head football coach. And so, like I said earlier, we want our guys to go play another sport. Our track program last year, we placed in all of the relays. We're getting so much better there. And that was a bunch of football guys that did that. Baseball program, won state. Again, we have guys that do that as well, football, baseball, a bunch of guys that cross over. Wrestling, we've got wrestlers that are in the Caden Longstreet's one of our wrestlers that really helped us last year. Brock is a wrestler. Brag on Brock real quick. He tore his labrum last year during football season, or maybe before. I think he did it before football season, and played the entire season with a torn labrum. Rested a little bit during wrestling, came back at the end of wrestling season and went out there and wrestled in the regional tournament, and never had surgery. Went through about 3 months of off season, and he was power cleaning about 280 at the time before they found that tear in his labrum. So he went an entire season of football, wrestling, and then some of off season. Then he had his surgery on his torn labrum, and he's already back doing all kinds of stuff. And I guess I say that because, these guys, they never stop. They know how to win. It doesn't matter what sport it is. It doesn't matter. They know what the expectation is, and they know how to grind. And it's hard. Playing high school sports is hard. It's hard to wake up every day and be different than everybody else. We like to tell them all the time that if sports was easy, if football was easy, then in a school of about with 600 boys in it or 500 boys in it, you would have all 500 playing football. But there's a reason there's about 90 that play football, because it's really hard. They give up their summers, they give up their off seasons, they give up a lot of time to put into their work. And so I think that as far as, having success in multiple sports, I think that really comes from an expectation. I got to brag on Coach Norman real quick too. Our swim team last year, both boys and girls, were runner-ups. Coach Norman started that. His son is our head coach now. And if you go watch our swim team, these guys will tell you they're in the weight room just as much as we are. They're working just as much as we are. It's just it's a culture in our school where kids want to be great at whatever it is they're doing. And so I think that's kind of how that happens.
Question for X. What's the relief been like that recruiting's over? Has that made things a lot easier for you the last month?
Oh, yes, sir, it has. Being able to finally, relax and really focus more on the game, make sure, I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm really light on my feet, really focus on myself, get more treatment, and, go do what I can do.
Okay, so I'm going to tee one up for you, Coach Dunn, and I expect you to run it right down the middle of the fairway and roll it up on the green.
I was a baseball player. I didn't play.
Well, okay. So,
over the fence.
Yeah.
There you go. Home run.
Well, that leads me into the question then. Middale Schools have just announced that they're going to do a little over a $400 million bond that's going to come up in 11 weeks. And to me, that's swinging for the fences. What difference does that make? I mean, it'll affect Del City, it'll affect Midwest City, it affects Carl Albert as well. What difference will that make to all of the sporting programs here in the Middale district?
Yeah, just a little bit background. So on Monday, I was coming back from the coaches clinic in Tulsa, and that's when they had the special board meeting where they took the bond proposal to the board, and the board approved it. But while listening to Dr. Cobb and the way he talked about it, I was fired up. I mean, I had chills driving back. I don't know that I've been that proud. I've got a long history of Middale, and I was very, very proud of the things they were talking about. He talked about wanting to lead, and not catch up, and being aggressive, and voters in our community rewarding that aggressiveness from Middale by throwing it out there and saying, hey, let's go. Let's swing for the fence. Our kids need it. Our kids deserve it. This is going to put us in a place, all of us, all of our entire school district, it's going to put us in a place to be more safe, to be more secure, with the safe rooms they're building, the different additions they're building to the buildings and making those nicer. I coached down in Texas for 12 years before I came back to Oklahoma. So I've seen what bonds can do. I've seen what putting money into the schools can do for a community, that can do for kids. And this is what I think this is doing. I mean, you put that kind of money. I don't know if we've ever done any more than $170 million in our schools in Middale. And so you put that kind of commitment into your schools, and our voters get behind that, and they understand that this is going to do so much for our fine arts programs. It's going to do so much for our schools, for our athletic programs, multi-purpose indoors for all three schools, stadium renovations, video boards all over the place. Fine arts, they're putting a lot into the performing arts centers at all three places. I know at Midwest City and Del City, they're going to make sure the fine arts rooms are closer to the PAC, which is big time from a security standpoint, just from a growing your program standpoint. There's just so many good things, and you can never beat when we're going, I think, from 10 schools with safe rooms to 20 with safe rooms. And, with our history in Oklahoma with tornadoes and just anything that can happen with that, I mean, you can't beat that. Another big one for me is they're going to do fencing, security fencing around a lot of our facilities, and so there's so many things in there that I think are going to benefit our district and be such a big thing for our kids. I'm really proud. One of the things we've talked about, and obviously you, Coach Norman, have talked about for a long time in Middale, is our Middale swim program that serves Midwest City, Del City, and Carl Albert has been one of the best in the state for a long time now. We've got 3 state championships back to back to back from the girls. Our boys and girls were runner-ups last year. And we've got a pool on this next bond. We're partnering with the YMCA. We're trying to build a really nice YMCA facility that will have a pool involved. That it's just going to be, everything involved with this bond could be something that would be monumental and huge for all the kids and all the families in the community of Middale.
All right. Thanks, Coach Mike Dunn and the Carl Albert Titans. Best of luck for the season. Buffalo Wild Wings in our OSN Media Day will continue. We saved the best for last. Our hosts, Midwest City and the Bombers, and they're coming up next right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Well, we're back here for the final of our representation of OSN Media Day. We want to thank the Newcastle Racers. We started off with them, then the Dell City Eagles, Carl Albert Titans, now the Midwest City Bombers up next for us. And filling in for Coach, we've had some summer vacations, all-state championship games to consider. So John Mitchell representing the Midwest City Bombers.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having us here. It's an honor and pleasure for us to be up here, especially amongst great programs such as Carl Albert, Dell City, and also Newcastle. Thank you. Thank you guys for what you do for high school sports in the state of Oklahoma, and especially what you do for our three schools, Dell City, Midwest City, and Carl Albert. I mean, we really appreciate that. I'm not saying that not just for myself, but it's mainly for the kids. When I came up, if you got your name mentioned in the paper, you thought you were doing something. But now with all this exposure and getting this in for the kids and exposing the kids and showing the kids, it's great. I really appreciate it. We're coming in off of we had a pretty solid year. Finished at week 8-3. Started off 0-2. I mean, when you play, you just talked to the two previous teams. They got on us and they got us, but after those two, we reeled off 8 straight, won our district, undefeated in district, went into the playoffs. It didn't go so well as we thought it did, but it was a life lesson, and it's something that I keep reminding. These guys will tell you, I bring it up constantly. But it's not to ridicule them or to put them down, just to give them motivation. To just always tell them, remember how last year ended. All right, do you want that same feeling? Let's change that. So that was our springboard going to our off season, going into winter ball, which is strength and conditioning, and then spring camp, good team camp. Solid summer, very good summer. I've been in Midwest City 10 years, and I can say this group right here, this group of kids, I've seen these three kids since they were freshmen, and I just told them before we got up here, it's like, wow. I looking at you guys, I feel old, but at the same time, it's wonderful seeing it. Because I've seen these kids as freshmen and look where they are. They're seniors and they're leaders on this team. I'm really excited about this group because collectively, this is probably one of the better groups we had as a whole. They're not just one guy you can point out. It's a group of guys, the whole group. And we have a good mixture of like these 3 seniors, some other seniors, and some other young kids that stepped up last year and played big roles for us. We had a lot of sophomores who will be juniors this year played big roles, and now they're juniors, and so now we're just going to take it a step further. So hopefully, a lot of things fall in place for us. And you know how football is. I tell these guys, football is second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. There's this type of sport because when you play a game, you might get beat this play, but the next play you might have success, and you can build off that. So hopefully, we can stay injury free, and just we start the 7th, right? August 7th. Start August 7th, and just keep it rolling, because I told the kids the easy part is over with, and they kind of feel like, what do you mean the easy? I said the easy part is you show up to Summer Pride, you put the work in, then you can go home, have your rest of your day. The tough part has been to begin is when we start school, and not only you got to get up, come to school, you got to go to class, then you got to go to practice, and then as you all guys know, that first month of practice in August, that's tough. It might be 100 outside, but then these guys will tell you, I try to make it at 120 because just the intensity and this and that. Because I want to emulate what they go through in practice, that the game would be easy, if that makes any sense. So, like I said, excited about this group. Ready to get after it, and let's get it going.
Coach, in the games you fell short last year, the other team was able to run the ball successfully. I guess are you emphasizing anything different with how you defend the run based on that, or is that always something you do anyway?
Well, with us, in regards to that, to answer your question, it's just a few small things can cause big consequences or things like that. These guys will tell you, little hinges open big doors, if that makes any sense. It's some small things that we didn't do that are such as we tell a kid, go under, or go this way, or go that way. If you miss a line or misstep, it throws the whole play off, if that makes any sense. We did address that, and from those losses, I mean, 2 of the losses that we had, you guys talked to them, and those 2 losses that we had to those 2 great programs, because we sit right in the middle of those 2. And I told these guys the other day, I said the tough part begins because when we start the season with possibly 1-2. Or in my instances, 1-1 and 1A or 1-1, because they're both. I mean, you defending state champion, and you have the perennial 5A state champion, and then also the team that is just as equally talented and explosive. So, hey, we're gonna get it. We got it right. Gonna get it right, and be ready to take on those 2 when the time comes.
Coach Kate said you might be switching to a 3-4.
Well, yeah, we'll be measuring in a 3 down. At times, we'll look at 3 down, and we'll also look at going 4 down as well. But the best part with Coach Cade, he implements a scheme that best fits his personnel. He seems, and this is my 3rd year working with him, he's a guy, or he's a coach that he doesn't try to make the scheme. Let me rephrase. He doesn't try to make the players fit the scheme. He implements the scheme to fit the players. Does that make any sense?
Right, and you also have a lot of returning linebackers.
Yes, we have quite a few. We return a good bulk of our defense. We lost, I'll say, in the front, three guys to graduation, and we return a good bulk of our team, especially offensively, defensively. The young man sitting to the right of me, he was the backup, but he's not that typical backup because the backup QB always wants to play. He wants to play quarterback. This young man right here just said, I just want to play. Put me in or whatever. Came in and played receiver. His mindset was not to, of course his mindset is to win. He wants to be the best. But anything we asked of him scheme-wise, he did. I don't coach offense. I'm on the defense. But what I seen with my eyes is that he had no problem blocking. He had no problem running this route. He didn't care if the ball was coming his way because I've seen receivers over the years, the ball ain't coming their way, and you guys have seen you watch football. You know the ball ain't coming their way. They jog off the line, but his first play looked like the last play, and that's a testament to him of how he works and what he believes in. This guy right here, I can probably count on my hand how many days he's missed over the summer the last 2-3 years. I don't think he missed a day. This guy right here, our starting center. Yeah, people look, he's our starting center. Yes, he's our starting center. But he knows everything. He gets the guys lined up, and he knows it front to back. And trust me, he's one of the more tenacious guys I've seen. Young man to the other right side of him, coming back off a knee injury, tore his ACL, been there every day. And it's going to be a real staple for us. These 3 guys are going to be our staples in our program. Our program is built on accountability, and consistency.
Let's talk offense then. Kenny, how do you feel confidence-wise now you're taking over the reins as quarterback? And do you expect to be a running quarterback a lot? Do you expect to mostly be throwing, or what are your expectations for this season?
I'll say really just what fits the game. If I have to run, I'll have to take off and run with it. If I have to throw it, I have to throw it. Just depends on what happens in the situation. I feel really confident in the season and in my guys over here and the whole team. Really, we've been working real hard over the season. Over the off season, lifting hard, running fast. I feel pretty confident.
Now you guys lost 2 or 3 senior receivers. You also lost a receiver named Kenny Colston. So I know you got Devin Sissons back as a receiver. Talk about the other receivers you think will step up and maybe make a name for themselves.
Like you said, Devin Sissons, Josiah Johnson, Felix Fuentes, and Keon Scott. I feel I'm very confident in all 4 of them and all of them, even their backups. I feel very confident in throwing whoever to the ball. I trust with my life, trust with the ball in any situation.
What did you learn from a 4-year starter at quarterback? I mean, he came in as a freshman, took over. What did you learn by watching him that is going to help you for this year?
I learned a lot. He taught me a lot. Came in freshman year, not even know how to read a defense. He sat me down, taught me that, and he just really helped me all the way until he graduated, and I'm very thankful for that.
Mont, I saw every one of your snaps last year during the games. I don't recall one bad snap to DJ. I don't know if you also did snaps for punting and but to DJ, you're perfect with your snapping, and I don't recall any other issues with you. How do you feel about your season last year, and do you feel like how do you feel like you've improved heading into this season?
So the difference from last year, I just worked on technique since I'm a smaller guy. So I just worked with technique. I went over to DJ about like the snap count, how does he want to adjust with my snaps and stuff like that. So going in from last year to this year, different quarterback, but same. Nothing really changes. Got the same O-line, just one going, different receivers. I don't really feel too much of a difference with how this season's going to go.
For Nathan, you missed all last year with an injury, so where are you now with that? I mean, do you feel like you can be about 100% when you guys played a month?
Yeah, by the beginning of the off season, honestly, I felt great, but then towards the end, it feels good. It feels way better than it did last year. I feel like I'm at 100%. Feel like I get a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little faster. Yeah.
Do you guys feel like your first 2 opponents? I mean, Coach Mitchell talked about Crawford, Joe City. Are those 2 of the best defensive lines that you saw? And you guys still have to get ready to block this season.
I feel like they're going to give us a challenge, but if we just play hard and stay confident, that we'll have a chance.
Any other questions?
Yeah, with district play, you're in the Southwest District, so a lot of other teams are also with the Oklahoma Sports Network. Turns out Elgin was the team you had to knock off to win the district, and then that was a classic, and I think they'll return a lot of players, but you got to go to Ardmore, Noble. I know you're familiar with some Noble people. How do you feel about the district this year?
I think it's still it's going to be a tough district. I mean, will it be the same as it was last year? No, because teams get older, they get better, and they get more familiar with you. If at the end of the day, I'll steal what Coach Jones said earlier. We can only take care of what we can take care of. If we do what we're supposed to, we show up, we limit our mistakes, and we come and play hard and play tenacious, we can control that. We'll control the outcome. That's what I like to say. With our guys, I mean, we have a thing that we developed over the summer, and we had to call it the 225 Clean Club, Power Clean Club. And the best part about that number, didn't we double that number from last year? We doubled that number from last year. And one of the best parts about it is QB's part of that. And how many programs or how many clubs can you sit and say your QB is part of a club like that? But that just doesn't signify him. It just signals or symbolizes the whole attitude and persona of this team. You'll ask us, do we have any five stars, 3 stars, 4 stars? And I say, well, if you want to see stars, go out at midnight and look up in the sky. We don't worry about that. We worry about showing up, playing hard. I'm cut from an old cloth. These guys will tell you they call me old all the time. I'm of the belief when a coach sits up and tell you, has a compliment and says, guys, your kids played hard, or your kids are tough. That's all that matters to me. And I think we have, especially with this group, bunch of hard-working, tough kids, and one of the best things I've seen, they hold each other accountable. Not just things that happen on the field, but also out off the field, in the hallways, in the classroom. And that's where it counts, because they believe in, and QB he'll tell you, if I can't trust you to show up in here, how can I trust you to make that catch on third and 5 or make that crucial block, if that makes any sense. Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about your running game? Because you lose DJ from last year, who was a pretty good runner, but you had some pretty good running backs coming back.
Yes, we have. The best part about our running game is that, like you said, they're coming back. We have 2 seniors coming back. We call them La Sierra, La Violette. I hope I didn't butcher his name. And Darion Rogers, who will both be seniors. And then we still return Jalen Woody, who's a junior. And we have a couple other kids that'll be in the mix that will provide stability in the running game. So yeah, we lose DJ. I mean, hard kid to replace. But the best part of having DJ is DJ set the example, because Mr. Colson right here said it himself. He learned from observing these guys up here. They're not the vocal type, but they're the lead by example type, and you'll see it when you see our running game. These two are offensive linemen, and you know this is a QB, so they lead by example, and you'll see it. You'll see it when we play, when we take the field.
Last question for these two. Talk about the other offensive linemen. And I know you're hoping to get Sampson back, and you already got Brunson in there, and the Jones brothers maybe. And how good do you think this offensive line can be?
I feel like this offensive line would be good, just as good as last year, because we only have to replace one. With Daniel Sampson, he's coming back from an injury, so I feel like if we can get him in shape and get him into practice, learn with him, work with him, I feel like he'll be good. As far as Jacob, he's really talented, so I don't have too much worries about him. The Jones brothers, they're big, and strong, so they're big and strong. So I have really good confidence in them. As far as him, he's coming back from an injury. I feel like he'll do good too. He went to camp. He did really good in camp. So I'm very confident in my O-line and how they're going to do.
I'm real confident in the O-line because, honestly, in the way we are stronger, getting stronger, all that, doing better. Everybody's getting big. Everybody coming back from last season hungry, ready to get ready for the season. So, honestly, we're going to be really good.
All right. That's the Midwest City Bombers. We want to thank them. I want to thank all of our schools representing today, where we had Newcastle started us off. We had Del City, Carl Albert, Midwest City. Best of luck to all of those. All of these teams, of course, can be featured all season long, all 10 regular season games plus playoffs right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network. You can download us for free. Just search Oklahoma Sports Network on your Apple and Android devices, Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. For the entire crew of the Oklahoma Sports Network, we appreciate you spending some time with us for the OSN Media Day Metro right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.